Hi people, this is Chris. Today it's all about this Pearl Reference 1 standard kit in Brooklyn Burst. Enjoy! As you might remember, 3 years ago Pearl drums made a relaunch with all their upper class drum lines. All kits now have the same range of finishes to choose from. Also all toms come with die-cast hoops, and last but not least, Pearl introduced the new R2R mounting system where you can choose from 2 different tom arms. The original pipe style and the first ever Pearl L mount arm. But the prices went up too, so let's find out if this kit is worth 4,800 euros. So to give you a quick overview of the different Pearl series, on top of all is still the custom tailored Masterworks program where you can choose from different sizes, finishes and wood and hardware combinations. It's a bit comparable to Sonar's SQ2 program. Then there's the Reference 1 series, the kit we have here today. Below that are the 3 Masters kits. Masters Maple, thick shells without reinforcement rings for maximum projection. The Masters Maple Pure, which is the 4-ply MMX shell with 4 plies of added reinforcement rings. And the Masters Maple Gum, which I would call Pearl's interpretation of the legendary Gretsch shell. Also with a 60-degree outer edge. So as you can see, there are a lot of options to choose from. Some might say there are too many options. Anyway, I did a comparison video with the Masters Maple and the Masters Maple Pure a while back, which I will link below. Also, I tested a Reference 1 kit back in 2023, but in bigger sizes with a 24-inch kick drum. The Reference 1 is the most expensive out of the 4 kits. Instead of the Masters lugs, it's equipped with single swivel lugs. Also, the construction of the shells varies from drum to drum. Pearl is basically using 3 woods in total for the shells: birch, maple and mahogany. The 10x7 is a mixture of 4 plies of maple and 2 plies of birch. The 12x8 is a full maple shell, and the 16x16 has 2 plies of maple and 4 plies of mahogany. All toms are 5.4 mm thick, which I would call the standard diameter for most Pearl drums. The 22x16 bass drum is an 8-ply, 7.2 mm thick shell with 2 plies of maple and 6 plies of mahogany. While the 10 and the 12-inch toms have a small rounded edge, the floor tom and the bass drum have fully rounded bearing edges. And the shells are really well made inside and outside. Also, tuning the drums is really easy and they hold their tuning very consistently. Included with the kit is a bass drum pillow and the 3 floor tom legs, but no tom arms or other hardware. Pearl Europe sent me a full hardware set with 2 combination stands to set up the kit. While the bass drum has no tom mount, you will need at least 2 tom arms and some clamps to set up the kit properly. So let's check out the other hardware parts. As stated before, the toms have die-cast hoops, and you can also find the stainless steel tension rods, which are some of the best on the market in my opinion. And the R2R system on the smaller toms has the OG pipe style arm. Also you can mount these discs on the R2R mount to shorten the sustain, but I have recorded the drums as usual with the most open sound possible. The only downside hardware-wise, I have said it in the past and I will say it again, is that Pearl made substantial cuts to both the quality of the bass drum legs and especially the floor tom brackets, which work but are far away in quality from the former models. So I would say these belong to an intermediate drum kit, but not on a kit that costs almost 5K. And considering the overall price increase, this is something I cannot understand. For the sound files, I've used the Reference 1 brass snare in 14x6.5, which I will cover in a second video together with the 2 other Reference 1 models, so stay tuned for that. So now let's listen to the kit in a medium-low and a higher tuning. So here's my conclusion. When I was looking in my DAW after the recording session, the sheer amount of files I had recorded surprised me. Usually that means that I'm very inspired to play, and this kit is indeed inspiring. The sound is very full, very resonant and dynamic. Through the rounded edges in combination with the coated Remo Ambassador heads, you get a lot of shell tone, and the tuning range is also quite high. When comparing it to other Masters kits, I would say that the Masters Maple is definitely louder and more focused. And this kit here is more on the warmer, more vibrant side of the spectrum, a bit like the Masters Maple Pure as well. The only downside is the price. Almost 5K for 4 drums without any hardware is not a bargain. So what's your opinion on this kit? Let me know down below. Also, stay tuned for the upcoming video on the Reference 1 snare comparison. As usual, you can support this channel by using the purchase links down below, and I hope to see you next time. Until then, bye!